Civic.
I'm Accord.
And we're going for a comparison.
I'm in the 2022 Honda Accord Touring 2.0, and Yuri's in the Honda Civic Touring as well.
And we're gonna find out if the $12,000 savings you get from getting the Civic over the Accord is worth it, and I'm gonna fight for the Civic to the death, and Jacob's gonna fight for the Accord to the death. So let's start it off with some horsepower and torque.
The Accord has 252 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque from a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, and that Civic has 180 horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque from a 1.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder.
So obviously the Accord's gonna be faster. Ready, and
see you later. It's not even close.
but the Civic is gonna get much better fuel economy, which is nice. And there is a slower Accord with a CVT, which might be the same speed as this, because this is faster than a lot of the other Civic models.
Whoa, touring is this comparison. So I noticed you said CVT. Yeah, that's because you also have a CVT. I do not have a CVT in this Accord. I have a 10-speed auto, which I think is definitely better than that CVT, which only has 7 fake simulated gears.
But I'm gonna get better fuel economy in this Civic with 6.9 liters per 100 kilometers or 34 miles per gallon.
Yeah, you definitely got the Accord there, because this one only gets 26 miles per gallon or 9.1 liters per 100 kilometers.
And gas is expensive right now.
And if you value saving money in terms of gas or even buying one of these cars, you should probably head to tsp.truecar.com, because one of these is cheaper than the other. Obviously that's the Civic, but one of these gets marked up more than the other, and that's actually the Civic on average.
Now, while that is true, while I was on tsp.truecar.com looking at prices, I did find a Civic Touring with a markup of only 0.1 in my zip code of 90210. So it's not really an issue.
Yeah, you're right. And I've actually seen some pretty crazy markups on this one of up to 50% on the Accord. So I think it's kind of a tie. But if you're shopping for either of these, go to tsp.truecar.com for discounted price offers, and you actually have to click Get Viewer Price to get your price.
And that is for new cars in the United States. So now obviously looks are a personal preference, but the Civic was redesigned a bit and it now looks like a baby Honda Accord. And both of these are in the same gray color, so I think it's a perfect way to compare which one looks better in our eyes.
But there are some objective things about the exterior, starting with the wheels. The Accord gets 19s and the Civic gets 18s, even though I actually prefer the design of the Civic's wheels.
Well, these 18s just fit this smaller car so much better than 19s would, so I think it's a great decision on Civic to have 18s.
Oh, you did say smaller car, which when we're talking about the interior, you're definitely right.
And the exterior dimensions, and it really feels like a smaller, nimbler car while driving. But what would be the Continental recommended tire for both of these cars?
That would be the Extreme Contact DWS 06 Plus or the Viking Contact 7 in the winter.
So then styling-wise, this one was refreshed in the last year, and I feel like newer is always better. People like the newer styling, and that Accord is like 5 years old now.
Well, this Accord did get a refresh in 2022, but you'd be hard-pressed to find what the actual refresh was. It doesn't look much different, so I actually do think that Civic looks a lot better.
I noticed that we both have that little swoop behind the back window. I guess a design cue that goes across the whole line.
Yeah, and I have extra chrome, more swoopiness along the bottom.
And then at the back, exhaust tips are kind of overrated. I don't think they're necessary, and neither does this Touring Civic. So we don't have fake exhaust tips, which is great.
Totally disagree. I've got chrome exhaust finishers because you really want to accentuate that exhaust before we get electric, even though these ones are squared off and you can't really see fake exhaust.
And it matches the chrome on your door handles. I know how much you love chrome, Jacob.
Chrome is my favorite as I age gracefully.
And at the front too, not even the blackout package. Respect, man, respect.
Yeah, this is definitely a my-spec vehicle.
We both have sunroofs, which I think is a perfect way to spend money.
And you know what else we have? Visors. Let's see if both of them pass.
3, 2, 1. Yep.
Yes! Okay, good.
Okay, so either purchase is a good purchase at this point.
100% so far.
So now to some cool feature stuff. Does your car have the new airbag system from Honda that keeps your head from moving laterally and rotating in the front seats?
No, I don't. I just have a regular old airbag system, which is still theoretically safe.
Yeah, no, we both have very good airbag systems in both of these. We've got like knee protection and side curtain airbags, so that's good too. But the Civic just has a little extra special airbag.
And Yuri, while we're having this conversation, it's actually very quiet in my Accord. That's because I have active noise cancellation and you don't.
I don't, but I do have more insulation in the touring trim, and because of that, the road noise is very, very quiet. I would say almost quieter than the Accord, if not quieter.
I'm gonna turn off my lawyer thing where I'm supposed to defend this car and say you're actually right. That thing is quieter.
I mean, they did a really good job on this.
They did a really good job on that Civic.
But you do have adaptive suspension on the Accord, which this Civic does not. I mean, this Civic drives wonderfully, but like on train tracks,
Yeah, this Accord definitely has the better suspension. It's really nice to have adaptive. Adaptive suspension is really expensive, and to retrofit a Civic with that, I don't think you could really do it, especially for the price point.
no, I think Civics should have like normal suspension.
Yeah. And going over all the road imperfections in both of these, very comfortable, although the Accord is just a touch more comfortable. However, the seats are even more comfortable in the Accord because they are 12-way adjustable with 4-way power lumbar. And how many ways of adjustment do you have in the Civic?
8-way, no lumbar adjustment. However, the seats are very comfortable, and at the moment, I'm not requiring any lumbar adjustment, but I could see why somebody might want that. And what sucks about the Civic, I'll admit, I don't have presets to save, but both seats up front are fully powered.
And Yuri, although you don't really need it right now just because it's a little cold out, can you turn on your cooled seats for me?
Only my heated seats, because I do not have cooled seats.
Heated and cooled in this, and a heated steering wheel, but you also get the heated steering wheel in the Civic.
I really wonder if that extra 12,000 Canadian is worth all those extra features.
However, since this Accord is so much more expensive, I also have rear heated seats and USB ports back there.
Guess what? So does this Civic.
Ah, damn it. Okay, but I have a ton more legroom back there because this is just a larger passenger compartment.
But even for yourself, Jacob, I think I've heard you say in the past that you fit perfectly in the back seat of this new Civic.
I totally do. However, I just have even more knee room in this car.
Oh, for more tall people. I mean, it is a bigger car. That's part of it too.
And there's even more room in this Accord in the trunk. Yeah, it's a bigger car.
I'd say the Civic has a decent amount of room for the size of it, and you can get the Civic in a hatch, which you can't get the Accord, but that's a different story. So now I've got some stuff that you probably don't have in your luxurious car. Do you have a full digital gauge cluster?
I have a half digital gauge cluster.
Wow, welcome to the future. Come on, let's get with it.
However, ahead of my gauges, if I look up a little bit, I've got a head-up display, which I can adjust with a hard button, and I know how much you love head-up displays, Yuri.
I mean, a totally unnecessary luxury feature that this Civic doesn't have, and I don't even really mind, but I'm happy that you have it, and it does look very nice.
Hey Yuri, if you could do me a favor and just use your tuning knob to, change through your radio stations on Sirius XM, which you love to do so much.
Okay, in my newer Civic infotainment, I can only go left and right for tuning with these hard buttons, but I do have a volume knob and a home button and a back button. Do you even have any more buttons in this brand new infotainment?
Volume knob, tuning knob, and I have 4 buttons across each side. This is the perfect Honda infotainment.
No comment. I do not need to question this anymore.
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection.
And we both do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and they can optionally be wireless as well.
And then we both only have reverse cameras, no 360 cameras, correct?
Correct. And the resolution, pretty much identical.
I'm shocked that a luxury car with such a bigger price tag doesn't have 360 cameras. Slightly disappointed for you, Jacob, slightly.
Yeah, you might be right about that one. But I do have parking sensors for that really decent backup camera.
As do I. I guess we're okay there. I don't know. I like my 360 cameras in luxury cars, though.
And they also both rewind satellite radio, so no issues there.
My favorite feature.
And subjectively, I think the sound system in the Accord is actually better. It has slightly less speakers than in the Civic, so it does have a lower number, but it has a lot of watts.
Yeah, I've got 12 speakers compared to your 10 speakers, and I've got this Bose system that is designed specifically for the Civic. I mean, I think they sound pretty equal. I think we would need Savage Geese to be a professional witness who tests sound systems to let us know for sure.
Yo, snitches get stitches, goose. Zooming out of this infotainment, looking at the general interior, I've got this glorious wood grain, which is also a luxury signature item.
Yeah, maybe old luxury. I think new interiors have this cool mesh pattern like I do across my grille, which no other car has. And people are really wowed by that. I don't think they're wowed by wood in that Accord anymore.
You know what they're not wowed by? Having to clean between all those little grates. Oh, what a nightmare.
I'm gonna go with Swiffers exist.
Yo, good luck getting a Swiffer between all those little grates. You need
the
a little
feathers
air cannon thing.
I don't think people who buy Civics clean their cars that much.
Of course they do. It's a Civic. And these climate control buttons in the Accord are the most luxurious feature I have possibly ever seen. When I raise the temperature, it goes red. When I lower the temperature, it goes blue. Does that do it in the Civic, Yuri?
It does not, but I have the nicest, clickiest rotary dials for your climate control, which I think Jacob from TheStraightPipes quoted as the nicest, clickiest controls ever.
I may have said that in the previous Accord video as well. However, Yuri, let's let the audience decide. I'm just gonna click these buttons. You guys let me know which one sounds better, and then Yuri will click his. All right, here we go.
Comment below.
Damn, bro, that was pretty good. Click test.
Hypothetically, on your way to work, something goes on your windshield. Do you have magic wipers?
No, I just have regular wipers.
It just sprays from the hood, not out of the wipers? Wow, that's pretty weird considering the Civic for $12,000 less has these.
Well, Yuri, that's actually new technology, which technically is usually untrustable, so it may break. This is older, reliable technology.
It's just a hose attached to the moving thing.
Yeah, well, it's reliable. Everybody loves Toyotas and Hondas because they're always old. But does yours have this heated windshield for the wiper section where I have an actual button for that?
No, that's a very luxurious feature. That's a very cool one for winter, especially.
Well, thank you.
Too bad I live in Arizona and I don't encounter that problem, hypothetically. And then on your way to work in rush hour traffic, both of our cars have the lane keep assist, radar cruise, lane centering, and I think that's a dead even tie.
I would totally agree. Both systems work very, very well.
Yeah, I can go down to a stop and go nice and slow. Both of these would be great for daily commutes.
So let's talk about drive modes quickly. In the Accord, we've got Econ, Normal, and Sport.
Same.
However, I looked inside your Civic and you have this weird ancient looking stick. It's massive, it takes up so much space, whereas I have this amazing button shifter that takes up no space and looks like it's from the future.
That very difficult to use push button shifter, I don't think is as great as a normal shifter, and I think we should settle this in a 3-point turn challenge, see how quickly we can operate everything without missing buttons or something. Maybe check our turning radius.
I would love to check out our turning radius, Yuri.
All right, Jacob, let's see that U-turn.
Let's see how many spots it takes me to do a U-turn. Okay, exactly 3 spots. Now I'm gonna use my button shifter. Wow, it's so easy to use this button shifter. I know exactly what reverse is. Oh, there's Yuri's car. Make sure not to hit it with my backup camera. Use my drive button. Wow, this is so easy to use. I'm definitely not lying to you guys. Good luck beating 3 spots.
I'm gonna put it into drive with my normal shifter, which is awesome, intuitive, and everybody loves. I'm gonna crank that wheel and...
Huh.
Feel like it's also 3 spots.
That was exactly 3 spots. Interesting.
Let me just put it into reverse with my normal shifter. My reverse camera is kind of crappy, but so is yours because they're all the same Honda one. And let's get back on the road.
We haven't floored it together in a while, and I'm kind of getting bored here. 3?
Okay, but you go to Econ and I go to Sport, please.
Oh, man. All right, this is not going to be fair, but okay. See you later.
I'm a Civic touring owner. If I wanted to go faster, I'd get the SI or the Type R. Jacob, would you get the Accord SI or the Accord Type R if you wanted to go faster?
Yuri, I already have the Accord Type R. This is the same engine block, basically.
Well, it's a very similar motor to the Civic Si.
Yeah, still both slower.
So then how about our cup holder area? I can fit a small Timmy's in both of my cups. I think that's a very good fit in the Civic.
And the Accord kind of has these loose-ish grips, which theoretically would fit a larger drink very, very well.
And then around the cup holder area, I've got this cool material that was designed to repel fingerprints. I know a lot of automotive journalists out there hate piano black, hate fingerprints. I think this is the winning texture on the inside.
I totally disagree because I have no gloss black, nothing that even remotely looks like gloss black in here. They did a fantastic job with this interior.
But the material in the Accord, was it specifically designed to repel fingerprints?
It doesn't need to because you can't see any of the fingerprints because it's not a gloss black-like texture.
I feel like Lay's potato chips would change that all up.
Hey Yuri, can you touch in front of the passenger side thing right where the vents are? Isn't that gloss black?
Oh, that's not a touch point. I would never touch there.
Yeah, but you just did because I made you.
No, I almost did, but I did not.
And since these are both touring models, maybe you want to tour Cliche Corner, so we should probably head there, assess the handling between both of these, and make up our mind which one handles better.
All right, Jacob, launch with me into Cliche Corner.
I shouldn't have any problems considering how much power I have. Dude, I can't keep up. I was just wheel spin the whole time. Ah, here we go. Okay, eventually I fully caught up, but that took way too long.
I mean, that's pretty good for Civic, and then it feels so light and nimbly through here.
This just feels really well planted. You can really feel the weight, the extra weight of the Accord.
And as Civic plows out a bit, it is not an SI, it's not a Type R, and it's winter, so I kind of expect that.
Yeah, and the Accord also understeers a little bit, but you can kind of feel it biting in and all that extra power. Come on, come on, come on. Gotta catch up to the Civic. This is kind of embarrassing right now. Oh, there we go, and we're caught up.
I feel like you need more power.
Yeah, I just need more traction because I have much more power than the Civic.
And full disclosure, we did drive each other's vehicles through Cliche Corner earlier, and I can confirm everything Jacob is saying. That extra power does help in the Accord.
And the Civic is definitely extremely nimble, and maybe my preference if I had to pick both of these to drive through Cliche Corner.
If you were under oath.
Under oath, which I don't know if I am right now. But when it comes to just flooring it in this Accord, assuming I'm not doing it from a stop, this thing is so fast, picks up right away, and see you later, Yuri.
Yeah, no chance of catching up. But more fuel, but going faster is objectively really nice.
And just to verify this again, let's just send it through Cliche Corner once again. Sport mode, traction off, gonna use my paddles, and this transmission shifts very quickly. The turn-in is very nice in this Accord.
The Touring is also in CVT paddle mode 3, and I'm pretty much right on your tail.
You are right on my tail because I'm just plowing out with all this extra power.
And even with traction off in both of these, it still intervenes a whole bunch.
Yeah, you can't fully defeat traction even though it says you do. You can still see the light flashing. So I think that totally sums up each vehicle. Obviously the Accord is the better choice. It's got more power, more legroom, more interior space, more features in general. Yuri, what do you think?
And more costs. So let's get to the price.
Oh, let's just start with the Civic's price. $30,565
Canadian.
And this Accord Touring 2.0 is $42,820, which is a very good deal.
But the Accord Touring 2.0 is only $2,000 more Canadian than the Accord Touring 1.5 with the CVT.
Yeah, so that's the real bargain, is it doesn't cost much to get like 70 extra horsepower. You couldn't get that in the aftermarket.
But I feel like overall, we got a lot out of this Civic that the Accord already has. There's a few things that are nice, like head-up display, but that you don't really need. And handling-wise and power-wise, I think the Civic is pretty good. I would prefer to get the Civic and save that 12,000 Canadian and spend it on some fun stuff like Marvel cards or action figures, or I don't know, maybe a new hoverboard or something.
Yeah, or maybe a used Fox Body Mustang, or an old Civic, or maybe one Fiat 500 Abarth, or maybe one Fiesta ST. You know, there's a lot that you could buy for that amount, but okay, I'm gonna take off my terrible job at a lawyer hat, and I'm gonna pick the Civic as well.
Civic's pretty good, but the Accord is pretty nice. It's got all the good lane keep stuff, and I feel like some Accords in certain trims can look better than a lot of Civics, and the only way to go faster in a Civic is with a manual transmission. So if you want to go faster in a Honda sedan in an automatic, that's your only choice, and it's good.
And the Accord is definitely more luxurious from the exterior, from the interior. This definitely has slightly more presence than the Civic.
But the Civic is brand new, and people love brand new cars. So if you're going to buy either one of these, head over to tsp.truecar.com. Discounted price offers on new vehicles.
Hey, this Accord is brand new too, although it is a refresh and that's a whole new generation of Civic. But let us know in the comments, what is the best deal that you can find between either of these on tsp.truecar.com.